arguably reading lies in the rough, if you're in a divot, if you're in a high fescue scenario, reading all those different lies and those situations you encounter on the golf course is as important of a skill as reading greens on a putting green. Turn, shift, lift. Boom, right here. One of the most important elements when you're on the golf course and you find yourself in the rough, which inevitably is going to happen to all of us, is reading the lies. It's so important to read the lie and understand what club you're going to hit and the strategy which you're going to set up and the motion of the swing to get the maximum ball speed out of these lies. So what I like to do with my students is we grade our lies. So right here out in front of me, I would call that an A+ lie. So A+ means there's not much behind the golf ball. I can get the club to the back of the ball. I can pick a variety of clubs from here. We are going to get pretty much similar launch conditions as far as height. Maybe we're going to lose a little bit of spin because we're out of the rough. Maybe just a little bit lower, but we're mostly going to have a high probability of hitting a nice good shot out of that. But because golf is just a difficult game and sometimes we get some bad luck, we can draw some poorer lies. So I call this middle ball a C lie. So a C lie is when there's rough behind it, there's interruption between the club face and the golf ball. So now it's going to affect our launch conditions. It's going to affect the height. It's going to affect our spin. It's going to affect the quality of the strike. Then we go to the unfortunate lie of the F- lie. I'm going to give that one an F-. So it's sitting down, it's buried. We can't get much behind that golf ball as far as getting our club face behind it. So we have to adjust our club selection, adjust our setup, adjust the swing, just to advance the golf ball forward. So my college coach always used to say, we want a conservative game plan, but an aggressive swing out of the rough. And I think that's really important. An aggressive swing, therefore you control the club and the rough doesn't just grab it and control you. So let's talk about that A+ lie first. I have an 8-iron here. Say I'm 150 yards away from my target. We're gonna get probably reliable carry distance out of this A+ lie. I don't have to really adjust much for this lie. So pretty normal strike out of A+ lie. Maybe I got 148, 147 yards of carry out of that lie rather than my normal 150. A+ lie, you want to draw, if you have a good day, you're probably drawing a lot of A+ lies. Now, let's move to the C lie. We got a little bit behind that golf ball. So again, I have my 8-iron in my hand, but I know it's not going to carry as far. It's going to launch lower and it's not going to have as much spin. So it's going to roll out more. So maybe I'm 150 yards to the hole, but this ball is going to land short of the green and roll on. I'm relying on that trundle. I'm relying on that rollout to get me onto the green. I know this golf ball is not going to carry on the green and stop. And even if it does, it probably won't stop. It might roll over the green if I catch a little bit of a flyer. So flyer means we're catching some rough in between the club and those grooves, taking away all spin, and it just kind of launches out of there. So out of this lie, I'm going to make a couple adjustments. One, I'm going to get the ball a little bit farther back in my stance. That's going to help steepen our angle of attack. I'm going to get a little bit more body weight on my front foot. Again, steeper angle of attack. Then I'm going to feel a little bit more wrist set in the backswing to get this club up to create the conditions for more down, because we need to try to reach the back of the ball. That's the goal. The goal is to reach the back of the ball with the angle of attack and not to fall backwards to try to lift the ball out of here. The kiss of death in the rough, what we see with some of our students, is leaning back because they know it's going to go low, and then you chunk it, you grab too much grass, and the ball goes nowhere anyway. So I'm going to be aggressive with my swing and my approach, have some firm wrists, strong hands on the golf club, ball a little farther back, weight a little bit more forward. Naturally, I just choke down on the club for a little bit more control. Nice aggressive swing. You can see that ball almost knuckling out of there, so not much spin, and it will roll out, hopefully in the direction of the green. So unfortunately, we found this F- lie. So again, going back to that conservative game plan, aggressive swing, this 8-iron is probably not the play. I want you to grab your wedge and advance this ball back into play. So I'm going to grab my pitching wedge. And everything I just talked about with the C lie, I'm going to apply here for the F- lie, but I'm going to do it a little bit more, and understanding that the golf ball is not going to advance far. Hopefully I get the direction correct, so I want to be firm with my wrist to control the club face, but you have to fight this rough because that rough is going to grab that club and try to close that club face on you. So you have to be firm and strong through the impact area. So again, I'm just implementing everything I did with the C lie, but doing it more for the F- lie. So ball's farther back, more weight on that front foot. I'm going to feel a little bit more wrist set in the backswing here. I'm going to be firm with my approach, steeper angle of attack into it, and this golf ball, I have no idea how far it's going to carry, and that's okay. I want to advance it back into play. I want to be conservative with the target selection. Perhaps we have to go sideways rather than right towards the green, and that's okay, because I have no idea how far this will carry. But the goal is to advance it towards a target. Okay, so you saw kind of a punch shot approach because I was really firm, making sure that my wrist controlled that golf club through the impact area. And you see I made a little bit of that divot. That means that my club was steep enough through that area rather than trying to lift it, and now that club is too shallow and hitting all of that grass on the way to the golf ball. We want the path of least resistance to the golf ball. So it has to be more of this shape rather than shallow when we have the F- or the C lie. And you can certainly practice this. You can find this in creative areas of your local driving range at your club, or when you're playing golf, you're by yourself, drop a couple balls in the rough, simulate the A+ lie, the C lie, the F lie, go into the fescue, drop a ball in a divot, see how that ball launches out of those conditions. It's really valuable practice to simulate that before you actually play in a club championship, in a competitive round of golf, in just your normal Thursday play day. Practice those scenarios so you're getting used to it on the golf course, and then understand that you're constantly adjusting from there. There's so many variables in golf. The best players constantly adjust for those variables.